Hey guys, Venus here, back with another video. This week's episode is about a girl named Kayla who learns in the final week of 8th grade what it means to be herself. Think. 8th Grade, written and directed by Bo Burnham, starring Elsie Fisher and Josh Hamilton and no one else really. I think it's meant to focus as much as it could on Elsie Fisher to show off how self-centered and self-absorbed she is. Now, this is not a genre of movies that I like. I'm not sure what you call this. I think maybe coming of age or something, but I've seen some coming of age movies that I do like. Like earlier this week, I saw a movie called Flower, and 6 months ago, I saw Call Me By Your Name and Lady Bird, and I really don't like this genre. But I went and saw this movie anyway, even though I knew it was going to be fucking agony, because I like Bo Burnham. Bo Burnham is about a year younger than me. He debuted on the internet when I was in 11th grade, so I'm pretty much exactly his demographic, but this was hard to watch. Not because it was bad, not because it was poorly put together, poorly shot or anything. It's just a period of time in my life I don't remember a whole lot about because I specifically tried to forget it. If you're confused by the title, you may be Canadian or British or something else. If you're Canadian, they mean grade 8. If you're British, they mean year 8. If you're Australian, I don't know what term you use, but I do know that you lost the war to a bunch of flightless birds, so, shut up. I was in 8th grade in 2003 and 2004, so nothing that they were doing in this movie made sense to me. We didn't have cell phones. Smartphones didn't start popping up until I was in 12th grade, and I live out in the sticks, so, very few people had them. There was a part in the movie where they were saying how Snapchat came out for this girl in 5th grade, and I think I was 20 or 19 when it came out. And honestly, I've never actually used it. This was kind of like a movie that came out last year called Ingrid Goes West, where if you're really into social media, you'll probably think this is great. But since I don't do social media because I don't do social, I didn't really understand a lot of this. I get how Instagram works. I've tried it. I don't see the allure. I don't want to look at other people's pictures. I don't want to see what they're eating. But people do, apparently, and I don't really get any of that. So you can imagine how tough this movie was for me to get through. Because when I was in 8th grade, I was kind of like Kayla. I didn't want to talk to people because I didn't want to talk to people. But then if you could get me talking, I would never shut up. But, she wants to make friends. She wants to fit in, and, I've always had this drive in my brain telling me not to fit in, to try to stay isolated from everyone else and avoid them at all costs. So I don't get what's pushing her into these situations that she doesn't want to be in. And her dad, Josh Hamilton, is way too understanding and reasonable. My parents are, at least one of them is probably a literal psychopath. And none of these conversations would have happened. I would not have been able to just yell at my mom the way that she was yelling at her dad. It would not have worked. But honestly, what was bothering me the most about it was she was making little videos for YouTube, just like I'm making little videos for YouTube, but I'm 28 years old. I should be ashamed of that. If mine, because there's 28-year-olds who make YouTube videos, but they're much better than mine. Mine is almost exactly like Kayla's, except for I have editing software to take out all of my little, I don't know, those things. I do that a lot, and luckily for you, I edit as many of those out as I can. My concern is that her videos, when they scanned over it, were a minute and a half to 3 minutes long, and that was about how long she was looking into the camera. So I don't think she edited them. I think people have to sit there and listen to her just babble. But to my credit, I don't beg people for subscriptions. I don't tell you to share my videos because that would be embarrassing for me. She thinks that her videos are good enough to be distributed, and I disagree. I think that both of our videos should remain completely obscure and unseen by humans. Now, this shirt that I'm wearing, you probably can't make out any of the words or anything, but I've had this since 8th grade, and specifically why I wore it. And I'm kind of worried that I'm going to disintegrate it because of how much I was sweating in the car on the way back. It's 88 degrees here. Now, I'm not surprised that Bo Burnham made his first movie about middle school. I'm not surprised at that at all because I've been watching his stuff for all these years. I just wish that he would grow up a little. stop living in the high school times, you know? Like, he looks like he could pass as a high school kid now, but that doesn't mean that he has to keep his head there. I would like him to see him make a more mature movie. I mean, the subject matter was immature. The movie itself was very mature and R-rated, I assume. I'm just saying he needs to make a movie about 20s. If I had to rank the decades of my life, I would have to go, this current one that I'm in right now is the best, and then the first one I had, and then the teenage years, because that was seriously the worst. Oh my god. I was such an idiot. Anyway, thanks for watching my video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you later. Gucci! Like, what does that even mean?